So you're probably coming to Tanzania and you don't know where to start. So I want to tell you the 10 mistakes that you shouldn't make before coming to Tanzania. These are the ones that I made and probably you shouldn't make too. Shouldn't be making them. Let's get started. Number 1, overpacking. Yes, you had me correct. So probably you would think of like maybe Tanzania is in the East African, so it probably changed the weather and stuff. Let me tell you something. In Tanzania here, the weather it's so conducive. Unless otherwise you're coming around on April and March, but most of the time during the year, the weather itself, it's among the good reasons why travelers come here in Tanzania, because the weather itself is just consistently like almost around 36 until 37. It's rarely going to be very hard on 28 or probably going hot on 40s. So if you're coming here, don't pack so much. My good advice, if you're just getting here for like 1 month or if you just come around 1 week, you don't have to carry so much clothes. The only thing you can do is just carry some few shorts and some few shirts and some casuals in case you're just going outside for a party or something. But if you're a person who's going to just enjoy the moment and going to the beach and enjoying all the time, trust me, you just don't need to carry so much clothes. You can carry like almost like 3 shirts, and like how many shirts you're gonna carry, like 3 or 4 again. You don't need to carry so much clothes. Now I've seen this so many times, so many people would like carry a lot of garbages, and instead of carrying those necessities like their small stuffs, if you haven't seen the video of how to pack for Tanzania travel, make sure to check that out in my channel so you could know what to pack. Now you would carry a lot of things, you would carry so much things. Now if you come here in Tanzania, there's so many things that you would like literally not cost yourself by carrying them. They will be found here very cheap in the streets, and you don't even need to go to the big markets as I always tell you about, but you could just get them right here, and you don't necessarily need like some of the things I'm gonna list to you in the video that I did of packing. I did everything there. So generally you should not pack, like don't overpack. Like it's just gonna be a very simple shot, and so many things that people overthink of. For example, even if they will be going outside of Tanzania, they will do the same, they will overpack. I think this is the main problem that most of the people already face. Now if that's said already, like overpacking is an issue, just don't overpack. Just carry some few clothes and you're ready to go. Number 2, arriving at night. Now this is a really concern to some of you guys because they don't really travel according to their own plans. Now probably they had planned something, but they have to change so as they will get a cheaper price. That's something that you should do, and you can find yourself like arriving here at night. Now arriving here at night is a great idea, but also at the same time it's not a good idea, because when you arrive at night you'll never go and see outside like where you are living, where you are actually, the roads that you're passing through. Though there is life at night, but most of the times experiencing the life at night is when you're already established yourself here and you can go outside. But if you're actually from the airport or you're from the bus terminal, arriving at night is really a concern, because even at night here in Tanzania the prices kind of get high compared to the afternoon. If the place was like around, they want to pay me probably $0.5 US, of course it's more, but at night you might even pay $3 US just because using the same route and it's gonna be at night. But if you would have just arrived here on the afternoon, at least if it's too late, if you arrive here around 4 to 6, 7, it's not that bad. But if you arrive here from 7 until 12, it gets congested also at night, and if you're actually using the public transport, it's not going to be very convenient for you. So my best advice, if you arrive here at around at least from 3 to 7, if you're too much late, get it to 8. Of course 8 is already night, but around those hours, that's when the price is kind of okay. But if you arrive in the morning, well and good, that means it's a good time. But arriving at night is really a big concern, and you should be worried about that. And yeah, let's get to another point. Planning too much. Number 3, planning too much. So most of the people who actually like to do their own planning before they travel, just like me, we sometimes tend to overplan things. Now what do I mean by that? You're for instance coming here in Tanzania and spending probably around 7 days, let's say. Like some of the other content creators I've seen, like they spend only 7 days. Now with the 7 days, it's really short to experience so many things. Depending actually also on the next flight that you're going to use, 3 days is really small, because in 3 days, no, I mean like 7 days, not 3 days, like 7 days, like per saying that the first day you've arrived and you arrived late, as I've said on the other point, you're really not going to enjoy the moment, because if you've arrived late, you can't just go outside and explore, unless otherwise you're just going for a walk outside the place that you're going to stay, if you're actually going to go far away, it's going to get congested, and sometimes it's not even safe, as I've told you already on the video that is safety of foreigners in Tanzania or safety in Tanzania. If you haven't seen that, also go and check that video on the channel. So with that said, what I want to tell you is the things that you should know is when you arrive here, in 7 days duration, you can only visit like 4 places if you're actually within the region. If you're actually going to go outside the region, that's another case, because with that said, if you're going outside the region, that means you only consume like 3 days if not 4 days for your travel. Because if you actually move one region to another, you can use that just one day, like it's only 4 hours. Some of the roads, they will take you until like almost around 12 hours depending on how far you're going. For example, here in Dar es Salaam, from here to Morogoro, it's just 4 hours, 3 hours depending on the duration. And actually from here to Arusha, most people would really like to go there, it's even like 8 hours to 12 hours, depends with the bus or with the transport. Instead of using a plane, which is very expensive, I would advise you to use the bus. So my point is, when you arrive here, you the duration of 7 days, or if you have a month. If you have a month, that's okay. You can plan like so many things that you can plan within those 30 months, and you accomplish them, like more than 15 things you're gonna accomplish. But if you have a duration of 7 days, 3 days, that is very small, very, very small. My advice, you can only visit within the region of Dar es Salaam. If you go outside, you're gonna consume a lot of time, and you won't even enjoy the moment that you had here in Dar es Salaam. Because the Dar es Salaam itself, it has a lot of things that you guys can experience and you can enjoy. If you haven't known the things that actually within the Dar es Salaam, and you would like, oh my god, where can I visit? I know you Google and stuff like that, but the things that you wanna go and experience them, you wanna know them, the best one that can be like they be worth your money, be sure to check the video. I also did that. So if you're actually new here and just consuming content of Tanzania, make sure to subscribe. And also, if you're actually tuning in, thank you so much for your coming subscriber. Yeah, let's get to another point, because there's so many. Researching about transportation. Yes, of course you had it right, because transportation in Tanzania, oh my god, what else do you need? I have talked about all the transportation systems that are available in Tanzania from different places in my video of transportation. Just go to the channel. Oh my god, you guys are getting a lot of content. You should be subscribing. So transportation in Tanzania, you should do a research before coming here, like on what transportation you're going to use. Of course, you can't book most of the transportation. You have to come here because our country is still yet not developed. Probably maybe years to come they'll be developed, in the case that you'll be able to book when you're outside the country. But currently at this time, 2023, what I'm trying to tell you is you should understand the transportation system, because if you're actually using a public transport, it's going to be very convenient if you actually use them during the day. Because if you use them at night, it's very congested. Like the Modokasi, I even showed you so many times, it's very congested. Like, you don't want to go through all that. And when you have your bag, the best advice I could give you with the transportation in Tanzania, especially here in Dar es Salaam, and if you're actually in Dodoma, I don't think most of you go to Dodoma, but those guys will be arriving here and there. I'm not sure about Arusha, but Dodoma and Dar es Salaam, you can use what we call Bolt. Bolt is the best transportation you could ever use. It's gonna be a little bit of expensivity, but with the rest of the transportation that's available and their convenience and their portability, the probability of getting them, you would rather use a Bolt. The Uber thing really works. Yeah, most of you guys have Uber apps, but Uber doesn't really have what should I call that? The amount of money you're gonna pay for a Uber and a Bolt. Like, the Bolt is very, very cheap compared to an Uber. So my advice is use the Bolt. They're not paying or sponsoring this video. I'm just giving you an advice because I've been using Bolt so many times. Modokasi I've tried. Like, I've done all the transportation in Tanzania. I've used them, so I know what I'm talking about. Make sure to subscribe, and let's get to another point because there's so many things, right? So this can be kind of concern to some of the people, but some of the others, this can be a concern to some of the people, and some of them will not be a concern. Why? You should actually know the price. If you're not using, this is only for the people who are actually using the taxis who are actually not Bolt. For example, those people who actually are going from the airport. At the airport, you'll find so many people with the taxis and stuff. Those which actually are not Bolt, because Bolt you have to call them. So when you actually arrive at that place, this is people who are actually using the plane, airport, especially airport. So be concerned, because there's one thing that I realized: most people tend to go inside the taxi. Then when they go inside, they would ask the driver how much it is, but they don't get to talk about the price. They just tell the price. The drivers tell the price, then the guy accepts the price. They don't bargain. So you should actually do one thing. First, you need to bargain the price, because most of the times the drivers, they'll tell you high prices. And the second thing, you should talk about the price. Like, you guys need to talk about the price, because sometimes they just hit up, like they just take you there and then they tell you the price at the end. Then probably they want to give you a high price because they'll see that you're a foreigner. But if you don't wanna conquer all that, just let me know and I can help you out. Yeah. So just in case you didn't know, do not just go inside the taxi. 100 times you have arrived at the airport, just book yourself a Bolt and then go to the place that you want to be. And so many people would do this, like for example, they would arrive and they would actually ask the taxi to take them to the nearest lodge or probably like a hotel that's nearby. They are going to take you, but they're going to take you the one that is far away, and that's not very convenient, of which we're going to talk in another point. So make sure to do your very good research of transportation and bargain the prices of the taxis, because you don't want to hit up with some expensive prices. So another point that you should be very careful, for example, for those guys who will be living back, and either you're using a transportation of the airplanes or you're going to use like trains in Tanzania. I think most of the concerns that should be with you is like if you're using a train or if you're using airports. With the buses, they don't really care that much, but one of the things that you should know, arriving on time and arriving before time, those are two different things. So most of the times, if you're using a train, like the video that I did using a train and using an airport, you should know those things. I also did the video and they're all on the channel. So if you want to like arrive on those places, arrive early, because sometimes they get delayed on searching, on checking the video. Sorry, on checking the bags and luggages. It takes a lot of time. Now with that said, sometimes you can have a long duration, then you might be delayed for your flight or for your train, you might get late and you won't be able to catch it. So it's a very big concern. I think I wanted to just point it out, because sometimes I really even saw it on the last time I was getting the train. Like some of the people who actually were supposed to board the train, they ended up coming late and they had to chase the train, which was kind of not a good news, it's a bad news. So they had to get a motorcycle, like then they would come behind the train, like on the next stop. So I think that's kind of concerned. Like, don't be late on your travel. Here in Tanzania, you got things going on. Let's get to another point. Yes, exactly. You have heard this so many times, having an international data plan. Yeah, so many people would advise you, hey, get an international data plan, but what I'm going to say today is going to change everything. Do not use an international data plan. Get a local SIM card. It's going to change a lot of things. I know a lot of people have said like, just get an international data plan, get the iPhone whatsoever thing, data plan and stuff, like the Apple stuff, like the Cellcom whatsoever. I've heard of that too, and I've tried it. It doesn't really work well. The best choice that you can use for having the best data plan is getting a local SIM card. Now, excuse me, so one of the best things that you could do is getting a local SIM card. Now for those local SIM cards, they really got the local bundles, and those local bundles, of course, they want to give them the local chip because they are within the local people. So the local people really use the local things, and when they're using the local things, if you kind of get my meaning, they kind of get the things that are cheap. They're not going to be expensive compared to the foreigners. So you want to get involved with the local society and using the local way, things which in the local. I don't know if I'm making sense, but you want to get involved with the local SIM card of a certain specific area. For example, in Tanzania, one of the things that I would advise you, if you come here, just use the Tigo. If you use Tigo is the best. I know you can use Voda, I could use it in Tanzania, I could use it in Kenya, I could use it in Uganda, so many places, but Tigo here in Tanzania, it's very convenient and it's very cheap. It's everywhere. Of course, every kind of SIM card is everywhere, but the data bundle that you're going to use here in Tanzania for a Tigo, it's very cheap compared to other bundles that you'll get from other suppliers, network suppliers. So I think that's going to be the best advice I could give you. Like, don't go for the international data plan, it's going to be expensive and it's not convenient sometimes, because the feedback that if you have a problem, it's kind of late due to time and things like that. Like, you don't get that responsive until you talk to those guys who actually made you with the data plan and stuff, and sometimes their offices is not in the same place that you are. But if you're actually using a local SIM card, guess what? The local people are always there to help you, and you can continue with your lifestyle. So when you arrive in Tanzania, make sure you have a backup. I think I even talked about this in the other video. So if you actually arrive in Tanzania, make sure you have a backup of whatsoever thing. Make a copy of your passport, make a copy of your ID, make a copy. Like, those important documents, never work with them. Just have a copy of them, then have a bag which is going to be around your neck. I've seen so many content creators doing so, but I'm not seeing other foreigners doing that. I don't know where do they keep that, but one of the good things that you're here and I'm advising you, so you're going to get that. So you have a bag which is going to be small, maybe you're going to have in your backpack, but get a copy and work with it. Then the other things that are actually important, the real document, just leave them in the hostels or in the hotel, whatever place that you're staying, or your friend's place, I don't know, but keep them safe. But when you're walking, have a copy, because sometimes there are a lot of things happening on the road. You might get stuck and you will need to show your identity that you're actually a legal person or you're not a Tanzanian, and how long have you been here. There's sometimes like some things which are not convenient. I've seen they're really kind of messy, and I don't even think that's a good thing, though. People just trying to do their job. But make sure you have a copy, because having a copy is going to save some time, like a lot of time. So yeah, those are the 10 things. But they aren't over those 10 things, they're not over, so let's get to another thing. So as I told you, the other point, I think it was number three, I told you about the parking stuff, but I didn't tell you one thing. Another point is, don't look so shiny or flashy, if it kind of makes sense. You know the way you look, like you have this shiny capes, you have a lot of like you look like, of course you can look classic, it's not a bad thing to look classic, but what I'm trying to say is, don't be that foreigner, like in a foreign land, right? The foreigner in a foreign land, don't be that way. Just here in Tanzania, we have a cultural thing. So there are two different kind of clothes that are mostly worn here in Tanzania. Let me give you a piece of advice. When you're in Tanzania, if you're a Muslim, you can wear the normal Muslim way. Nobody will even care, and nobody will get concerned. You're gonna look like a normal Tanzanian. But if you're not a Muslim, then you have to think of which kind of clothes that I'm going to carry. Here is what I'm going to tell you. First, you need to carry a normal t-shirt, just like this. Second, carry a trouser. If you can get those trousers which are actually more of elastic clothes, and they are more of like sports clothes, those are the best ones, because everyone does wear them here. And they're very convenient, because even they are washing, they get dry very easily. And then you can wash them. And these shirts that are actually very easily, you can wash them, so you can be repeating them. That's okay with you, just like it's okay with me. So those are the clothes. But if you're actually in Zanzibar, which is not here in Tanzania mainland, most of the times, if you have those Muslim clothes, it's going to be very, very much convenient. But if you're actually not a person who's a Muslim and you're not willing to wear those kind of clothes, what I'm going to advise you, whether I'm not a Muslim, so just know that. And that's why it's not because I'm advising this because I'm a Muslim. No, it's not. I'm not. Or what I'm trying to say is, the clothes that you can wear if you're in Zanzibar, it's those kind of clothes whereby you cover whole body. Just if it's a trouser, don't wear shorts so much, because if in Zanzibar, if you are wearing shorts, those shorts, they're gonna cost you because you look like a foreigner. Like most foreigners, I see them wearing shorts. I don't know why. If you're a foreigner, if you're in Tanzania, maybe just let me know. Why you guys like wearing shorts in Tanzania or other countries too, which is actually a foreign land to you. So what I'm trying to say is, don't wear those kind of clothes. Like, and the fancy ones where you have a cape and a lot of things, complication, a lot of chains and stuff. Earrings are kind of okay, just the simple ones with the ladies. But if you're actually a man and you're wearing fancy clothes, yeah, it's kind of attracting a lot of attention and then causing problems later. Sometimes it does happen, though it's kind of safe. I don't want to say so much, but hey, you need to be aware of that this place here, it's a good place for you to come. Just come here and enjoy the place, but be careful on the cost that you have. How many times people will be going to another place, like for example coming here to Tanzania, and then from arriving to Tanzania they would literally go to maybe a bar, or let's say they'll go for a travel with their friends who actually they have met here. Now one of the things that you don't get concerned, do not tell people who actually, if you're actually alone, if that kind of makes sense. Yeah, I know it's safe for Tanzania, but listen, nobody is really okay with you traveling and enjoying your life. People get jealous, people get to think a lot of things, and so when you tell people, some people will be like snitching you. I've seen so many people actually trying to take advantage of the foreigners because they're alone. So you should not tell the people actually with you that you're alone. Tell them like at least you're going to meet someone, or you're with your friends that are gonna pick you up. Things like that, or your friends are coming. Things like that. Don't just say you're alone or telling them, yeah, I'm here, I'm alone, I'm traveling and stuff. Do not do that. That is unnecessary. So what you should know is, travel any place in Tanzania, but remember not to tell them that you're actually on your own, because it's gonna get messy at night, especially somewhere in Kariakoo there and other places too. Yeah, those were the 10 things. I hope I didn't mention them all. Those are 10 things. Yeah, for the thumbnail, guys. 10 things that you should know for coming to Tanzania, and they're gonna say they are the mistakes that I made, but I hope they are not mistakes that you'll make too. So if you want to know more content about Tanzania, make sure to subscribe, and those are the mostly things that you need to know, and other things will be coming up probably 2 videos every week. Until next time, peace out and bye bye. Subscribe please. Please subscribe, and thank you for 1,000 subscribers. Don't unsubscribe. Let's get to 10,000 subscribers. Yeah, that's all.